Hello, beautiful people. Welcome and welcome back to Thrive Out Loud. Kunatanolo, and as always, it's such a joy sitting here sharing a little bit, just a little bit of myself with you, one episode at a time. First things first, house rules. In here, we'll like, comment, subscribe, click on the bell notification down below, and tell a friend to tell another friend to bring on some popcorn and some nice because it's nice. Today, well, not just today, I got bitten by a Momo, and it's so itchy. Anyway, so today I wanted us to talk a little bit about failure. You know, we often shy away from this topic.
By we, I mean I shy away from it.
And we feel like it's the end of the world. We feel like once there's the F word, then it's the very end. But take it from me, if anything, failure should be our teachers. In today's video, we'll be talking about how to break up with failure the right way. Today's video, we'll be talking about how to break up with failure. Believe it or not, some are even married to failure. I'm not saying your person is, I'm saying the relationship we have with failure. It's very more, yeah, like just here. And honestly, sometimes it's really as easy as breaking up with failure. For starters, recognize what failure is and what it is to you. Recognize it for what it is. You know, maybe you started something new. Could be a new business, could be a new project, maybe it's a YouTube channel, maybe it's a podcast, could literally be anything, could even be a new job. Maybe you started something, but then that thing, it either didn't go as you had planned, as you had anticipated, or it just didn't even get off the ground at all. Maybe it didn't even take off at all. Maybe it took off but it crashed within 2 seconds. You know, anything could have happened, but the main pattern is that you started something, you got out of your way, started something, and this thing didn't work out. And because you had put in your all, you had put in like blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you were hoping, you know what, there's no way this thing can work, and then unfortunately it didn't work for whatever reason, and it led you to feel like you are a failure. It led you to feel like you failed at this one thing, and it then discouraged you from trying further. But I feel like the very least you can do at this point, if that's the point you're at now, for instance, I just lost my job. Okay, it's been a good month, but I've just lost my job, and for someone looking at it on the surface, it looks like I failed at it. It looks like a failure. It looks like a thing that, you know, blew up in my face because A, it was unexpected. It was my main source of income. What now? And the way it happened, from the surface, it's so easy to say, she failed at it. And I also could have taken that same stance to say, it means I failed, it means I'm not good enough, it means, you know, I could have chosen to wallow in self-pity. But if it happens to be you, recognize the situation for what it is, recognize, you know, where it went wrong, and recognize what you could have done different. Just recognize. The first step is just about being aware and recognizing that, you know what, this is blue, it's not pink, and that's that. The feelings that come as a result of that, we'll get into them later. But I feel like the first step to anything is acknowledging it, accepting it for what it is, seeing it for what it really is, and you know what, the rest will be history. Number 2, accept your part in it and accept it in full. You know, sometimes things happen and they're really not our fault. You've really done nothing in that situation, and it still blew up anyway. You did everything right, or you did everything that you thought was right, but it still popped and blew up in your face. You know, acknowledge your part in it, whether it was good, whether it was bad. Acknowledge that you had a part in it, and things turned out how they turned out on their own, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's your fault. I lost my job. I was going to work every single day. I was showing up probably earlier than everyone else at work, and I still got laid off. You know, I was hardworking. I was doing everything I could do, And I always try to keep a very positive attitude at work. I tried my best to keep, very level. I was always polite, level-headed, and it still happened. So, but all I can do at this point is to acknowledge that I did what I could, and the situation happened because it was bound to happen, and nothing I did or didn't do could have stopped it from happening, or could have, made it happen, differently. Or it happened, and I acknowledge that, it happened to me. It happened for whatever reason it happened, but it happened, and that's that. The next part is about defining what success means to you, right? So in as much as it's easy to pinpoint failure from a mile away, to say, but that one, like a flop, or it's a pothole. But what is success? How about we, redirect our conversation? We steer it from the negative to the positive, to say, okay, let's then redefine success in the same context of your situation. If a thing went wrong and you felt like you failed, what would have made you feel like you succeeded in this instance? For instance, for me, if there were bonuses at work, if there were like performance appraisals and bonuses at work, I feel like year in, year out, if those were done and every single year you get a gold star and you get a bonus, that would have felt like a success or a win on my side, because it would have meant I'm in an environment that recognizes my efforts and they're appreciating me for that. So in your situation, maybe you started a brand new business and it didn't really do as well as you thought. Then you pinpoint where it went wrong. Maybe you didn't get enough clients, you didn't get enough, support, you didn't get enough sales, business just didn't move as much as you thought it did. Then that's where you now define what it doing well might have looked like for you. If you wanted more clients, if you wanted more sales, if you wanted to advertise more, if you wanted more time, if you wanted more resources, what would success have looked like for you? That's where we now start with creating changing the narrative. Just change the narrative completely, flip the script and switch the narrative completely. You don't have to be defined by this thing that didn't work out. And just because one thing didn't work out doesn't mean everything you tried didn't work out. Maybe you tried opening a restaurant, but food is just not your thing. Managing people is just not your thing. But maybe you're good at graphic designing. Maybe you're good at coaching. Maybe, I don't know, you could be good at something else. But just be able to recognize that you failed at this one thing, and it doesn't mean you're a failure. It means that thing didn't work out, The next point is about drawing up your mind map, drawing up your blueprint to success. Basically a roadmap to success. Now that you know what went wrong, and now that you know what it looks like if it's going right, then I'm assuming the distance between these two the gap can be filled. We can find a map, we can find a young GPS, and we make our way to doing things the right way. If maybe you didn't advertise enough, then now we know where the problem was. If you didn't put enough time into your product and maybe people complained a lot and that's why it failed, then we know what to do. If you were always tired and had no time because you were always multitasking, then now we know that manpower is what you need. If resources is what you needed, if you felt like it's what would have made this better for you, then we know resources is what we need. But basically looking at where it went wrong, where it might go right, and how we can bridge the gap between the two. Unfortunately, in my instance, I don't think there's anything I could have done. Success might have looked like not getting fired, but if I was fired due to personal reasons and nothing about my work, or nothing about the service I was providing, then I doubt there's anything I could have done to prevent it, because at any given time someone might have decided that,
my feelings are a bit all over the place today, so I think I'm just gonna fire someone.
Right. But my situation doesn't have to be yours. All I'm simply saying is some situations are salvageable. Some situations, you're able to see black from white. You're able to see the fine line between black and white, and you're able to crisscross and make your way between the black and the white. And yeah, that's the point I was making. So now we find a roadmap how to bridge the gap between where it went wrong and where it can go right, and making sure we don't miss a single step the in-betweens. The next and final step is give yourself grace. I preach this on a daily basis. Give yourself grace and allow yourself to be human. You know, things are gonna fall apart, things are going to pop in your face, things are going to explode, things are just gonna go sideways. And that's just the human experience. That's just you experiencing life, is you gaining experience in this thing you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing, and it's you getting the insight that you needed, because I bet after falling 10 times, I doubt the 11th attempt will yield the same results. I mean, if you fell at the first attempt because, you know, of resources, then the second time around it has to be a different problem. But all I'm saying is, as you're going through these different seasons where you fall and get up, you're learning valuable lessons, you are gaining just invaluable experience, and you are gaining so much knowledge and wisdom about this, you know, thing you're trying to take on. Before you know it, you're an expert in your field, and you don't even have to introduce yourself. Whatever your field is, before you know it, you are the go-to girl, the go-to guy. You know, we know you are the it. Thank you so much for tuning into today's mini TED Talk. As always, it's a pleasure sitting here sharing a little bit of myself with you, one episode at a time. Reminder about the house rules in here: we like, we comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, and tell a friend to tell another friend to bring on some popcorn, because see you next time. Bye.